Today we're working on the driver's side wire tuck here. Earlier today, me and a friend of mine were working on this, and kind of got the engine bay portion squared away. We just put the main harness underneath this lip here, at the top of the firewall, and behind all of this, and over the brake booster, but it goes under the clutch cable. And it all goes into that little hole right there. Just lift these two out for the windshield wipers. That's pretty much it. So I know it looks like everything's done and while I make the video, but the next part is going to be a little bit more troublesome. So as you can see, all coming out of this one little hole here. It's a lot of wires. So we got it all in. That's the most important thing. So the next step is to figure out where we're going to mount the solenoid, which is here. It's going under there somewhere. The coil that's here. The wire for the coil, we put in a grommet right here. So the wire will come through the strut tower here and connect to the top of the coil where it plugs in right there. Please don't fall. So let's see, where's my wire for the coil? There's no wire for the coil. So those will go, those will fit through that grommet, and we'll put them back in the plug once we get it on the other side. So we just gotta figure out how we're gonna mount this. I'll get some light in here, but it's gonna go right across the top of the fender well. And we'll figure out where we're gonna mount the solenoid. All right, let's grab some light. All right, now hopefully you can see. So I've got all my wires coming through. This is everything. I didn't have to cut the hole, make it any bigger. I was able to fit it all in here. And so this is everything from the wiring harness. The only thing I've removed is a plug for the AC compressor, I believe. And that's it. Everything else is here. The only other plugs are the windshield wiper motor plugs. Everything else is here. These I took apart to get them through, and we'll put these back together. These and these. Oops, this. And this stuff I'm going to start to tape up. So I guess what I need to, when I do this, what I need to do is kind of figure out where things are going, if things are going to have to be lengthened or shortened. You know, we know this one's going to the coil, so it's going to have to break off into a separate wrap. And it's going to go through the top of the strut tower. I don't know if you can see that. But yeah, so go right through the top of the strut tower, right to where the coil is. And all of this is going to run right up here. So taping up is coming right along. I did separate out the wire that's going to the coil. I think I found a place where I'm going to put the solenoid. You know, I thought about underneath the frame rail, on the side, underneath the battery tray. You see a lot of people put it way up in here. That's really kind of hard to get to, although it is very well hidden up there and protected. I think I'm going behind the battery. I notice there's a couple of holes right here that are already here, and it just so happens they line up the holes on the solenoid perfectly. So all I need to do is flatten this one off. There's some big heavy burrs on there. So I'll get that smoothed off, scrape off a little bit of paint so we have some bare metal. And I'll bolt through from the other side. So all I have is the bolt heads inside behind the battery, and then I'll have nuts on this side holding this on just like that. Then I can bring my wires right around here, right on to the solenoid. All right, so I'm gonna get this cleaned up and get this mounted right there. I'll be right back. All right, so took a break for a day. Now I'm back, and I was running into a problem. I've been kind of wrapping up some of these wires, and you'll see down here, got some stuff all wrapped up here. These are the, fusible links and other stuff that I have wrapped in here. And so I've got my wires ready to go on the solenoid. This plugs onto the solenoid. Where I ran into a problem was this plug that goes to the headlight harness. I have a new headlight harness, and it came with this plug. As you can see, these do not go together. So I took my old plug from my old headlight harness and put on the new headlight harness. So now we've got this. And same color wires that match up. It's like a green and a blue, which matched up with my existing wires. I made that connection in here. So no big deal there. That should work just fine. So now I've got both these wires from my headlight harness, which should plug into both of these. Then I've got a ground here and here. Then I've got these on the other side of the solenoid. This plugs onto the little stud on there. That's pretty much it. And I decided where I'm gonna mount my solenoid. And I'll mount that right here behind the battery. I've got my holes cleaned up, some paint scraped away there so I can get a good ground. And that is ready to go up. Up in here, I'm gonna try to pull this through just a little bit more, make sure I get some heavy tape right here where it's gonna be going around this corner. I might even take a little piece of rubber hose and just put on this one side, like split a hose down the middle, put it around this edge where my wiring is gonna bend up. It's gonna bend up that way and kind of push against that edge. So I want to make sure I protect that as much as I can. And other than that, it should be pretty straightforward. I got plenty of wire to come up here and go around to where my solenoid's gonna be. There's no plugs way down here. My solenoid's gonna be up there. And yeah, let's rock and roll. All right, so I'm ready to tack this up. I went ahead and added another grommet right here. The wires, the plug for my cowl is gonna go through there. And this is all open in here, so to come through and then just down into my other grommet I put right here to go into the coil, because my wire is going to run across here, and I don't want to run that plug underneath here. I'll just run it up through there, and it'll kind of drop down here without being in the way of the strut and everything coming up through here. So basically, this is going to be right here. I'm going to tie wrap it. There's a hole. Can't really see, but right there, there's a hole there, so that'd be tie wrapped there. And this wire for the coil, which is that wire, is hanging down. It's gonna go through that grommet back there. So it's in just the right spot. It just so happens this factory hole there, I just put a grommet in. This hole I drilled in behind where the coil bracket is. And I think that may be the only place I zip tie it there. There's no other good holes up here. So zip tie it there. Coil will be over here. So maybe another spot to zip tie it somewhere. I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and tie that up, and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so this is not tied up tight. I just have it kind of hanging here loose. But you can see where my wire goes up through that grommet and it comes out inside here. So I'm just kind of tuck that out of the way. Once I get it connected over there, maybe able to pull a little bit back so it's tucked out of the way up there. All right, I'm gonna keep going and make sure I've got my routing good for my hood cable. And then I may go ahead and attach my solenoid and get that mounted into place, and then I can start connecting these grounds and figure out where I'm going to put these things. Got my cable from my alternator, headlight harness hanging over here. Gotta find my battery cable, don't know where that went to. So yeah, I'll be back in 1 second. All right, now we're rocking and rolling. So I get this port up a little bit tighter, not all the way yet, just have it a little bit loose so I can move stuff around. But I've got my solenoid there. I put another little plug here that goes into an existing hole. So that hole is just wiring up down at this end, and I've got the tie wrap here that I'll pull up a little bit more. And gosh, you know, it's looking pretty good. Once I get these plugged in, then this is gonna all be clean through here. The Finalizing liner will cover this up, so that's fine being there. So yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with how this is going. And I think I may, yeah, I'll go ahead and pull in the rest of my wiring. Got to get my positive and negative hooked up over here to the solenoid, and we'll be good to go. But yeah, I mounted that right there. See what that looks like on the inside of the engine compartment. So you can see right here, I just have these two bolts here, polished stainless steel, of course, but this is behind the battery, so you won't be able to see it. And what's good is once I get the headlights plugged up, you really won't be able to see that, and this hole will really be empty when you look at it from in the engine compartment. You won't see any wiring that way either, but hopefully I'll find one of the little plastic caps to go over this hole. So yeah, let me finish adding some wiring to the solenoid. I'll go ahead and get the coil hooked up. Here's my wires I pushed through, so I'll put the plug back on here and put these back in the plug. All right, so my cable from my starter does reach up here, so that's good. I'm gonna put this one ground right here on the stud of this bolt that's coming through. So I think that's just about done. I need to get my positive battery cable. So I'm going to go ahead and install the battery tray. And I went ahead and put the coil on here so you can see the plug. I've got that wired in now. So that just goes kind of neatly behind the coil bracket and right through the strut tower. And I've got enough wire up in here that you can see that just kind of runs right up the side there and it's kind of hidden up here, and it comes through right there. Back into this piece. I got this tied up tight now up here. So you cut that off. And yeah, it's coming right along. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up, get all my cables in, and then I'll give you the finished picture. I may not connect the headlight harness yet. I may do a different video on that headlight harness because it is a brand new unit I'm putting in. And that's it. I'll be right back in 1 second. All right, I am pretty much done with the wire tuck. As you can see, I tried to clean everything up, make it look as factory as possible. There's some areas that don't have loom on it. I think that's fine. I've got 2 different tapes on there, and it's pretty well secure. I did end up using a piece of hose right here on the edge of this opening just to protect some of these wires where I couldn't get any loom in there. But yeah, it turned out pretty clean. So I've got just my main bundle of wires, and you'll see the hood cable there. There's my solenoid all wired up, everything's connected. Only thing I still have to do is the headlight harness, which will take care of these 2 plugs here. And then also on the headlight harness, there's a wire from the alternator right here, and that'll go right here on my solenoid. So that's the only thing left to do, and this will be complete. So I'm gonna wrap up this video. Let me show you what it looks like in the engine compartment. I think I already showed you the coil, so that's done. And here's my battery. Negative battery cable runs down and comes right around here through this headlight opening. And I'll probably will tie wrap it up somewhere just so it's not dangling. That goes around to the engine block. And there's another little wire that comes off of that right here that goes to the ground for the solenoid. And what else? My positive cable. I've got it triple wrapped here, and I've got it in a loom because it goes through this opening. I couldn't really find a good grommet to go in here, so that'll kind of go neatly in that opening, just like so. So that is it. That concludes this wire tuck. So appreciate you watching. Please subscribe. And I've got more videos coming. Next one, I guess, is going to be the headlight harness, which I have laying here. There's my old one down there. There's a wreck. So subscribe so you can check out that next video. And we'll see you next time. See ya.